Good morning, family. Stone Live here. I believe today is Wednesday, the 15th of December. We're 10 days out from one of the most celebrated holidays uh, you know, in America. It's also a time of what they call the winter solstice, when there's going to be a lot of action from the sun and moon. Um, It's a beautiful day outside. It's lovely outside today. The weather has really been mild and moderate, especially up here on the East Coast. I hope that doesn't foreshadow something, ominous to come. Something that is, awaiting to violently turn and or morph into something that could truly be devastating. Let's hope not. I know that my experience with the weather, whenever the weather's like this, especially during the late months of fall going into winter, when it's unseasonably warm, that could mean that there's something something lingering over the horizon. But we'll see. Mother Nature is very unpredictable. We have all witnessed what has happened over the past couple of days with the tornadoes that struck over in Kentucky. Uh, Truly volatile situation where Mother Nature can sometimes be very abrasive. She attacks without warning, and sometimes, no matter how many sirens or bells go off, you never have enough time. So we want to give our prayers to those families uh, who may not have escaped without, being, affected by death, which, in situations like these is of high probability. We pray that they are able to kind of get themselves back together. It's funny when the world is going through all of this with COVID, and Mother Nature sometimes has to send us a reminder as members of humanity and as her children, that she's the only one that you should be worried about and that you should be truly fearing. I mean, this COVID thing, yes, it's rough, and there's a lot of people that have been taken, whether rightfully or not. But in the end, she's the one that has the final say, and it is her and to the entity of God that really you should be fearing. So, moving along, there's a lot of negativity that is in the air as the residual effects of COVID. The government seems to be accelerating their position as it relates to the mandates and the jab. And it's funny because I know that there was just a ruling in the Sixth Circuit, which essentially suspended the mandate into further notice. But yet, it seems that the local municipalities are still mandating, the shot, so to speak, and they're definitely mandating the mask. I was reading an article online, and it states that there's a little town, I think it's Arizona. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But there's a town out there in one of these territories in on this continent that has now implemented no gas with no vax, no food with no vax. And they put their employees in a position now where they have to enforce such policies, which obviously is to me a degradation to mankind, a degradation to humanity, with these type of war tactics that are now being targeted on fellow American citizens and inadvertently by American citizens vicariously through the powers that be. So this is where we're at, and I believe as a result of that, there's going to be more turmoil, more estrangement, more violence. There's going to be a groundswell of anger that will erupt, and the reality is that the more that people are pushed away from these operations of business, is the more that those people who work for those businesses, who are the proponents of such policies that are passed down by management, the more those people you're going to start to notice are going to be losing their jobs. Because remember, the system, those operations of business, are kind of predicated on, the totality of the consumers, and the totality of the consumers is the vax and the unvax. So once you take the unvax out the picture as it relates to consuming, that's going to affect, the operations of the business, financially, monetarily, even from an employee standpoint. We just can't pay you anymore. We're not making enough money. Or the prices go up sky high. So you have super inflation. The dollar, you can't buy nothing with it. So these are the things that we have to think about collectively. We have to internalize, and we have to look at, and we have to say, when is enough enough? Even if you're vaxxed, you have to sit down and say to yourself, now, wait a minute. Now, when is enough enough now? When is enough shots enough? When do we stop with the boosters? I was listening to something the other day, and it raised a very interesting question. And it says, well, you're sitting here, you're trying to convince people who haven't taken the vax to get the vax, right? And on the other hand, you're trying to convince the people who got vax to take another vax because the initial vax didn't work. So, I mean, so you want the people who haven't taken the vax to get a vax that doesn't work. You're trying to convince them that it does work. That's why you should get it. But the people who already got the vax to get another vax is obviously the first vax didn't work. And so, and now, dealing with the Omicron, essentially what you're dealing with is the variant that evolves as a result of the Delta, the initial pathogen, evolving. So it's the Delta variant that is now evolving into the Omicron variant as a result of time. So that's where we're at now, and it's really time to ask questions of not only yourself but of your officials, of those public officials that stand tall on the position of the vax. It's time to start questioning some things, and it's time to gather together as people and to decide where is it that we want to go in 2022. Because the way I see it, people, and with everything that's going on with Mother Nature, the reality of that, we're really going to be standing on a cliff, and it's and looking over the cliff, the ominous, reality of falling over. And really that's what it's coming down to. All over the world there's revolt, there's resentment, there's there's revolution. Everybody, across the planet is affected from this pandemic that has, far-reaching consequences, not just for today, but for tomorrow. And, this is why we also have to kind of abreast ourselves with the other view, with the other argument, with the dissent, even if you don't agree. And I know that's hard for some people, but if you're going to consume yourselves with the idea that your truth is the truth, then to me, that's not a reasonable, or nor is it a realistic approach to dealing in totality with the situation. So, you have to be apprised of all of the facts, or would-be facts, the conjectures, the thoughts, the analysis, the conclusions, before you can put yourself in a position where now you're denying somebody food, you're denying somebody gas, you're denying your fellow man the opportunity to live and to feed his family based on the fact that he doesn't agree with you. That's what it's coming down to. It's coming down to, what do you think? See, no longer are you going to be able to say, well, my job says that I have to do this, so it's not. No, because you're going to run into that customer that's going to say to you, well, what do you think? What are you talking about? You're telling me I can't get food? You're trying to tell me that I can't get gas, that I can take my daughter to school, or I can homeschool her because I think differently from you? Like, because I tend to subscribe to whatever it is I subscribe to, as you subscribe to what you subscribe to. So now you're going to punish me? That's what that's going to come down to, people. And it's going to be very, very hands-on and very, very physical. And so it's something that, we all need to think about. But outside of that, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, and I'm going to go ahead and absorb myself in Mother Nature and see what it is that she can bring me, see what questions she has for me, and hopefully questions that I can answer. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, talk to you later.